Welcome, writers, readers, and friends to the Authors Talking Bookish podcast. I'm Donna Norman Carbone, author of All That Is Sacred.
And I'm Hope Gibbs, author of Where the Grass Grows Blue.
We're two debut writers traditionally published by a small publishing house, bringing to you all the experiences that we as authors learn the hard way, so you don't have to.
We'll give you insights from the inception of a book idea to publication and beyond. And along the way, we'll share our love of books from the writer's perspective.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Authors Talking Bookish, episode 23. We're going to talk about website. We're going to talk about content and how to get one, how to create one, how to hire someone to create one for you. I am Donna Carbone, and I am joined by Hope Gibbs. Hi, Hope.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Summer vacation. I just got my daughter off. She's studying abroad. My son is starting an internship. The other ones are working. So it's been a kind of a crazy end of, the spring, beginning of summer.
Yeah,
And I bet you're excited because it's the end of school.
Yeah, it's almost the end of school. I have another week left and I'm counting down. I can't wait, honestly, for writing time. I need writing time.
Yeah, I just got back from Sea Island and I do some of my best work because I'm right there by the ocean. And there's something about, I don't know, about being on a near water or, it gets me, inspired and I'm excited to write again. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel the same way whenever I go to the Cape. I get a lot of work done when I'm on the Cape because we're right on the water. And it's just so zen. It puts me in a good frame of mind.
I agree. So some other things, like normally we start off our episode and we talk about books that we're into, and today we're going to change it up a little bit. Donna and I started binging some television series that are based on books. So Donna, what's something that you're really into right now?
So I am a huge Liane Moriarty fan. I actually feel like she's one of the authors that I try to write like. I like her complex plots. And so I read her novel, Apples Never Fall, and I am binging the show, which is wonderful. And I'm a huge Annette Bening fan. So, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to, I stumbled across Palm Royale when I was in Sea Island. Someone had queued it up on the television and I was like, oh, I in passing had heard about it. And I fell in love with this show. It's on Apple TV and it has Carol Burnett. And I don't even know how to describe it. At some points it's serious. Some points it's almost like watching a Saturday Night Live episode.
Really?
But I absolutely fell in love with it. And it too was based on a book. So, so I like how this time we just kind of, we kind of watched adaptations.
Yeah, absolutely. I love adaptations. Of course, I'm a film teacher, so I love all things film as well as books. So that's the perfect marriage for me.
So today, let's jump right into this episode because this was something I was not aware of when I was writing my book, and then when I was trying to find a publisher or an agent, was the importance of having an author website. And it never dawned on me that this was something that they would ask when I was going through that process. They wanted the links to my website, and I did not have one until after I signed with Red Adept, as you did. And it was part of our contract. It was a requirement that we start a website. And so today we're going to talk about the importance of whatever stage you are in writing, how important it is to have an author website.
Yeah. When I started, I basically had a landing page that I created on my own. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the pros and cons of hiring someone versus creating a website on your own. But my website today has like 6 different pages to it. So it's grown quite complex.
So, for those who are asking, why do I need to have one? Well, first and foremost, it's just to have a professional presence out there. And it also
Mm,
establishes your credibility as an author or someone who is hoping to be published. And it's also a central location for all things of your author brand, because if you'll have your website there, you'll have all of your links to your social media. You can have a blog, but really important, it's a place where people can click and buy your book. So I
mm,
thought we would show some examples of our website. So the first example that I want to show is our Author Talking Bookish website. And Donna, you were instrumental in doing this because Donna and I had to go two different paths. Donna could figure out the internet. I could not. So did her own. I actually hired one, but as Donna, you have a clear homepage. It leads to both of our websites, and it's also where you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and if you click on each one of those, it will lead you to all of those links.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was quite simple to make because I had gone through the process of creating an author website. So I used the same platform, which was Wix. Um, I've had experience with WordPress, Wix, and now Squarespace as well. WordPress I used when I first established a blog many moons ago, probably over 20 years ago. And so that's out in the ether somewhere, although I don't keep that up. And then I just thought that WordPress was a little complex to use for an author webpage, in my personal opinion. Um, so I decided to shop around and I found Wix, which I find to be very user friendly. It comes with a host of really attractive themes. I wanted my brand to be, something clean, earthy tones, and I found that very easily with the thematic choices that Wix gives you. And
Yeah.
so I naturally went to Wix when I created our website for Authors Talking Bookish, just because it was easy. I had the whole routine down.
Well, before we get into the nitty gritty of what should be on your author website, the first thing you have to do is buy a domain name.
Mm, yeah.
That is step one. And one of the things that you really should remember is you want your domain name to be associated with you, that it's
Mhm.
easy, the shorter, the better.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of places that you can, go and buy a domain name. I like GoDaddy is one. I think it's Mailchimp, and
MailChimp.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
domain.com. And so with me, I am not an internet whiz.
Mhm.
Anything like that just scared me to death. And my husband helped me. We bought, I think, about 5. I mean, and they weren't that expensive, but you do have to
Mhm.
renew them every year, or you can do it up to 3 years.
Mhm.
We secured a few, and then I landed on authorhopegibbs.com.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there was another Hope Gibbs out there who happens to be a writer. So I went with authorhopegibbs.com.
Mhm.
And so I pay it for, every 3 years. And so you have to keep your domain name. What
Yeah.
was that like for you, Donna?
Yeah, I have a good friend who's in the web building industry. So he has been my go to every time I need advice. So I gave him a call and I was like, hey, I need a domain name. So he sent me to GoDaddy. And I, like you, searched a few different options. I went with Donna Norman Carbone just because I knew that was going to be on the cover of my book. So I thought that that would be the easiest for people to find. My advice would be not to try to come up with something too obscure. You're going to want something that is going to work with you for the duration,
Mhm.
because you're not going to want to shift midstream.
Yeah.
So I honestly think going with something to do with your name is best, and also what's going to be easy for your reader to remember.
Yeah. So as we were talking, I did not have a website until after the fact. And I did not design my website. I hired an outside web designer because I knew I could do social media. I knew that there were certain things that I could do myself. When I do my bookmarks, I have like a little tassel. I sit there and hand, tie those. Those are things that
Mhm.
I'm like, I can do this myself. A
Yeah.
website, I knew I could not. And it was a crazy time when I signed my contract. My husband was in the hospital with COVID. I
Yeah.
was in isolation because I had been exposed to him. And
Mm.
so I found a web designer actually right here in Franklin, Tennessee, who I really enjoyed. And so she did my web page. She did my website. And so when you land, you have a picture of me. You have, at the end where you can subscribe. I have my email. And then on the other side, you can see I have, where you can buy my books, you get reviews. There's interviews. Then this is, about me. Then I have a blog that I did not start until after the fact. And then I also have an easy way that you can buy my book. You can go on any of these sites and it will take you to my book. And so what happens with the way I work is if I need to add something or she loads my blog, I just email her and there's a monthly
Mhm.
fee to it. But for me, I budgeted into my author brand, my business, that this
Right.
was something that was outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah. It's important to know your skills and the limitations of them and where you'll need help because you can't be everyone.
Yeah. So Donna, run us through your website.
Yeah. So like I said, I started with WordPress with my blog. So I had a little bit of comfortability using a platform like a website designer, although that was just like one page and I would just add my blogs to it. Um, and so when I came across Wix, I did the free version, which really puts the whole website together. Once I got comfortable with that, I downloaded it's the advanced version. So I can really customize every single page. And like Hope, I have a landing page. I have a book page for each of my books, links to find them, reviews on them. I have a blog page. I do a monthly blog. And
Mhm.
I also have a link to Authors Talking Bookish on there. And like you, I also have a media page. So
Mhm.
different podcasts I've been on, different articles I've been featured in are all linked on that page. And then lastly is the way to get in touch with me if you want to do a book club and sort of my book tour dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we're talking, so these are some of the things that you need for your author website. First, obviously, your landing page. You want it to be something catchy. I believe Donna, yours is the one that's over on
In the
the
left.
left.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Mhm.
the way that you also did it is if you look, all of Donna's colors, everything is kind of very much of a color scheme. But then you also need to have your professional bio.
Mhm.
So it's usually around 100 to 300 words, just to tell a little bit about you. And you also want to have your book covers, because like Donna, you actually have both of your book covers on there. Is very prominent as well.
Right. Yeah, on my homepage, it was a little difficult. I migrated because initially I just put my All That Is Sacred stuff right on my homepage. And so once Of Lies and Honey came out, I had to migrate and have a page for each of them.
Yeah.
So if you could click anywhere on my book. You can click on the book title because just the books and the titles are on the homepage now, and it'll take you to a separate landing page for each of my books.
Yeah.
And
And so you can see over here on to my left the hey y'all, because I kind of leaned into, because I am a Southern, contemporary romance. That's part of my bio, and my bio is not all that long. And so to give you some ideas, start researching other authors' bios. They're all
yeah,
very very different, and Donna and our bios are kind of different as well, because Red Adept wanted a little bit different than just the standard. She went to college, this is where she works, this is where she lives. They kind of wanted
right.
us to tell a story within our bio.
Yeah. And another piece of advice that I think is important about writing a bio is to really have it in your own voice. Like Hope said, she says, "Hey, y'all," just from reading those first two words that Hope is Southern. And I think I talk about Cape Cod beaches in mine, so you know that I'm from the Northeast. So it's important to put a piece of your personality into your bio because I think we talk about brand a lot. That helps maintain your brand throughout your different platforms.
Yeah. And then, so the other thing that you need, which is really huge, is the actual book part. You want to
Mm.
have a book cover, you want to have where you can click. So on mine, in the middle, you will see you can click on all of these pages and it will direct you right to where you can buy my book. And, Donna does the exact same thing with hers. So, Donna, tell us a little bit about how that was building. Was that hard to get those links into your website because you designed your own?
Yeah, it's not really hard. There's a button feature, and you just move the button over, and you could custom design the button to fit your brand. And then there's a link when you click on it. It's all in the design features. The design features are so easy on Wix.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have links to all of my book outlets where you can find them. I also have links to local bookstores because there are local bookstores. One even sells my book online. So people who are looking for signed copies can get them from the links to the local bookstores on my website. And
Yeah.
there's another link on there too if for people who are outside of the United States and Canada. There's a link on there to buy your book from, somewhere foreign,
Yeah.
anywhere foreign. Yeah.
And the other thing is with your book, if your book has won awards like Donna has, mine's won a
Mm.
few, you want to put those, on your website because, you want it, it's a way to promote your book as well. Another tab that both of us have, we both blog. Now, I did
Mhm.
not originally start out blogging. I blogged after the fact. But it was a great way to fill my author website because I did not have a book cover until just a few months before my book launched. So I really couldn't lean on pictures and things like that. So I really leaned on blogging, and I probably have 30 to 40 blogs up. And what about you, Donna? Because I know you blog as well.
Yeah, I do. And for the writers out there who haven't published anything, I highly recommend starting a blog because
Mhm.
I do think that that is a good, easy way to kind of ease into the publishing process. Um, and so when I opened my website, blogging came naturally to me because, as I have said, I have been doing it for years and years and years. So, I would definitely consider doing a monthly blog, a bi-monthly blog, something routine. So whatever audience you procure, it anticipates when your blog is going to come out. I
Yeah.
think routine is important.
And, sometimes my blog is kind of keeping up because I don't do a newsletter. You do one, but
Yeah.
a lot of times it's just something, especially at the beginning. It was about my book without saying, "Hey, I wrote a book." I
Yeah.
would blog about flowers. I would, blog about recipes. I blogged about being an empty nester. So, you also don't want to just keep telling your audience, "I have a book. I have a book. I have a book." Give them
Right.
something else. Give them some, information. You
Yeah.
wanna you wanna give them a hook without, again, just saying, "I wrote a book, buy my book." So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's helpful to let them know who you are as a person because you are very much the person, they're buying you as much as they're buying your book. If they can connect with you, they're going to connect with your writing. And the other thing that you can do as, a kind of blog post is something that you can teach others or share with others. Sometimes I will write some how to's or my experience with different aspects of the business. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because you mentioned it, Hope, is that I do have a newsletter. And if you decide a newsletter is something that you want to do, um, I had at the bottom of every screen on my webpage a way to sign up. There's a form that you can just, honestly, it's like take and drop. And Wix creates an email address for you. So you get those email addresses for people who are going to subscribe to your newsletter. Well, I'm not sure quite when I figured this out, but it was sometime after I published All That Is Sacred. I figured out how to create a pop-up. So every time anybody clicks on my website, the pop-up comes up.
Mhm.
And then I have gotten a lot of subscribers that way. So if you're creating a website, I would highly recommend that as well.
Yeah. And another thing let's talk about really quickly is about when you use a picture, you need
Mhm.
to either have taken that picture, you own the rights to that picture, or you have paid for that picture. That is something that was really, hammered home to me, that you need to have the copyright of pictures that you post, not just on your website, but in social media as well. And
Right.
so there are other ways that, I subscribe to a lot of Canva. You can get just stock pictures, but if
Mhm.
I need a picture, because I did that picture with Carol Burnett and Kristen Wiig,
Mhm.
I pay a subscription that I paid for that picture. So you have to be very careful about what you put on the internet
Yeah.
legally.
Yeah, I use Dreams Time. What service do you use for
I
your
use
pictures?
Shutterstock, and
Okay.
so that does help. So then let's talk about overall design, because we kind of touched on that. But
Mhm.
when you look at Donna, she definitely has an overall design. You have colors. Do you carry those through also to your social media, Donna?
I absolutely do. There's a brand kit creator on Canva that I used. And so I created it on Canva and I do carry it across my social media. How
Yeah.
about you?
I did. I obviously, where the grass grows blue, I leaned into a lot
Blue.
of blue, because it keeps it consistent.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
think
but
that
blue is kind of your color anyway, isn't it?
blue is kind of my color. That, and my kids always say I wear black, but that's okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of women wear black a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to start wrapping up this episode, and Donna, I always talk about, our you're our teacher, and
I
you're
do
due
now.
now, but what suggestions, what do you want the audience to do now? What's their homework?
Okay. So your homework is, if you're not a published author and you probably don't have a website, I would come up with a domain name first. See if it's available. Look on various websites to see what's available. It'll come back and let you know if anyone out there has the domain name that you want. The second thing I would do is take a look at different authors who you admire.
Mm.
I would take a look at their websites. I would take notes. And that's what I did. I looked around. I took notes on the kinds of pages people had, what I liked, what I didn't like. No two authors' websites are the same. And then decide if you have the skill set and the time to create your own website. And if you don't, you need to determine if you have the budget to hire someone, and then move ahead with whichever platform you're going to use.
Yeah, and we've included a lot of links for this episode in the show
Yeah.
notes that you can find on, ironically, our website.
Yeah.
And we've also included links to our websites, but articles as well,
Mhm.
that give you even more detail than we did today. Because the best thing you can do is not just, read these articles, but also, like Donna said, go research, find authors that are in your genre. I'm not going to try to not mimic or copy, but if it's a person who writes science fiction, that's probably not in where I should be looking. I was looking in women's fiction, looking at contemporary romance, and make notes. Like Donna
Mm.
said, I added a book club tab because I saw another author doing that, and I was like, well, that's a perfect way to get my book out there to book clubs. And I know, Donna, you do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love book clubs.
So before we leave, Donna, there is something special that is getting
Mm.
ready to happen in a
Mhm.
few days, and it was our first time that you and I ever did anything live. We did an Instagram live. Was it 3 years ago? 2 years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
So tell us about
This will
this
be the third.
special. Yes. So tell us about this special event.
So, Women's Fiction Writers Association hosts a Women's Fiction Day every year on June 8th. And Hope and I are participating in two ways. We are giving away our book. You can find us on Instagram at authorstalkingbookish.com. The form is already up there. All you need to do is consent to give us your email address, write in your mailing address, and we will choose one lucky winner. And on the day of, we are doing an Instagram live at 4 p.m. We're going to talk about writing communities. So it'll kind of be a little snapshot of what we do on Authors Talking Bookish, and we will announce the lucky winner.
Yeah. And as always, everyone, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, and YouTube. And we are at authorstalkingbookish.com. And Donna, real quick, can you tell us about our next episode, which is it's a milestone episode for
It
us.
absolutely is. It'll be a year since we started our podcast. So we're going to do a little celebration of our podcast, a year of looking back. Hope and I will give you all the stats and give you our highs and lows of the year. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Donna, as always, this has been fun. And everyone, until next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Hope Gibbs.
And I'm Donna Norman Carbone. It's time for you to get to work.
We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks with another tip from your author friends.